What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Tracy May, and we are back in Chicago doing big things. But first, we got to get this book review out of the way. It's so appropriate because I clearly have procrastinated on making this video. And the book is called The End of Procrastination: How to Stop Postponing and Live a Fulfilled Life. So let's just get into it, please.
There was a time my house was neat and so was I was thinner back then. I would go out with my friends, but somehow that's gone bye-bye. Now I look around, there are piles strewn about. Is this dirty or clean? I'm finding out what it means. This is not just a house, it's a depression nest. I don't know how I got here. Depression nest, I don't know where to start. Depression nest, caving in on me. My life is simply falling apart. Depression nest.
Okay, so I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. This book is really hard to read, and I do not know why. It has some really great nuggets of information in it, and like assignments of things that you can do to, stop procrastinating. Like, it basically gives you like a little roadmap of how to do it. But in the process of giving you that roadmap, it also gives a lot of very, very scientific or historical examples that, for me, a creative person, were very hard to follow. Like, imagine an individual unit of something. It could be a single atom, molecule, or cell, or even an ant, elephant, or human being. Imagine that this individual entity has its own imaginary potential that it is trying to fulfill. An atom tries to bond with other atoms. A white blood cell tries to kill harmful bacteria. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of giving like, wait, and that's throughout the whole thing. It's so I'm not gonna hold you. Because of that, I did not actually read this book. The way that I skimmed through this book, I really enjoy homework. I'm the type of person that I really enjoy like an assignment. Like, oh, give me something to do. Like, oh, do I need to pull out a piece of paper? Hold on, let me do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really into that. And so I really just thumbed through this book. They have these little chapter recaps. So I was able to read all of the chapter recaps, the cliff notes. Then if there was something interesting in the chapter recap, that's when I went to that section of the book. Eventually, I'll probably either listen to the audiobook or muster up the energy to read the entire book. I had 2 months to read this, y'all. This is March's book. It is May. Hello? I feel like that means I got to read 2 books in May, but I don't know about that. I honestly don't even feel like I should be doing this video right now because I did not read this book. However, there are some things, of course, in the homework sections that I really did enjoy. Let me call out some of the things that I found interesting. In the motivation chapter, he talks about creating a personal vision. He talks about how the more motivated you are, the less procrastination you will endure. So basically, he talks about different types of motivation, and some of it is like an external motivation. Basically, it's like you have to do this because you need to. Like, for example, you have to go to work to make money to pay your bills. It's not something you really want to do. You sort of have to. And then there's also like internal motivators that are more so things that we really enjoy and things that we're like happy to do. Like I'm excited to like get into this DIY stuff. Anytime I have like a creative opportunity, that's like an internal motivator for me. I also procrastinate on my internal motivating things. So I don't know what that says about me, but I probably should have read the book to find out. But basically, he says that a personal vision is the main tool that will kickstart those internal sort of journey based motivators, right? And it'll help you determine priorities, reduce decision paralysis, and lead you to doing things that are truly meaningful. Now, let me show you this box. Okay, so basically how you start by making a list of your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, right? And then after you make this list in this like sort of grid setup, the strengths and the opportunities is basically where your motivative flow will come from. So everything over here is what will push you to like actually get something done. Like if you're like one of your strengths is that like all dogs love you and one of your opportunities is to be a dog walker, then like there's something there. You know what I'm saying? Like you might enjoy that basically. So, and then, so you're writing all of this down, right? You're writing all this down. And then you move on to this grid, which is development, legacy, relationships, and ego 2.0. These are all things that is like sort of like the reason why you would do something. So like, what are the things that you can do for your personal development? These are things like education and self-care, stuff like that, right? And then legacy, what are things that you're doing that you are leaving behind? And for parents, this could just be like raising my kids. Like this could be this YouTube show for me. It's like something that I'm leaving behind. Like when I'm gone, this will still be on the internet, maybe somewhere. And relationships is all about, because humans are like social creatures, relationships is all about what are things that can be done with other people that will, you know, give you some social time. This is where I struggle right here because y'all know I don't fool with leaving the house. I don't really fool with too many people like that for real. So this is the hard part for me. And then ego 2.0 is the selfless thing where it's just talking about like, what are some things that you can do for the community or like giving back with nothing in return. This could even be like, oh, I plan on doing like Habitat for Humanity builds or like community service or like even just every time I see, you know, somebody asking for money, I'm going to keep like dollars in my card to just give to people whenever. Stuff like that. These things, the first chart along with this chart is like your personal vision, right? Because you're taking your strengths and your opportunities and you're becoming aware of your weaknesses and your threats, and you can apply them to the things that you can actually do to be able to like create a plan for yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. And he says to focus on action, not goals. So he says, if you don't want to become addicted to goals, your vision should focus on your journey, not the goals. For example, your vision might include a statement that starts, my purpose in life is to ... By focusing on the journey, you will work your way towards achieving a state of flow, which will make you happier now. If you make your goal something that is like, my purpose in life is to create, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I think my purpose in life is to just create stuff. but it's so loosey-goosey and it's so like up in the air that it's kind of like I could never be happy in achieving my purpose because it's so broad and it's like everything and nothing at the same time, you know? And so he's saying, instead of focusing on, man, I got to make my goal, I got to hit my goal, I need to focus on the journey of everything, the vision that I create that fulfills that purpose. Y'all feel me? So it's kind of like, instead of just saying like, oh, my purpose in life is to create, and so if I'm not creating, I'm not fulfilling my purpose. It's like, let me build a journey that makes me feel good about the days that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like every day could be something different, and let me just enjoy the journey of creation instead of just focusing on like, what can I create? I gotta create something. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So then he goes on to talk about like putting your vision into action. How can you regularly, do things for your vision? What can you do to never forget your vision? Like these are questions that you would answer for yourself or whatever. Okay, so that's the motivation chapter. I thought that was a very nice practice. I'm over here looking like Jim Jones, and my scalp is itching like crazy. Please excuse me, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all just the start of my little grids that I came up with. Okay, let me turn this around. Okay, boom. So as you can see, I just did mine in my notes app on my computer. And this is me. This is like the other little, I didn't put it in a grid, but this is like the other little personal development part of it. And this one was my, I could come up with a weakness now. Can I come up with a weakness? So I still have to complete this because I don't like that my weakness is looking like that and I ain't got no strengths and no opportunity. So I got to like finish this little quad up and then we'll, get to building the vision. I will say that this book has a lot of assignments that are going to take you some time. It's not going to be like, oh, I just read the book and now I'm like, I know how to end procrastination. No, you actually have to do some work. You actually have to do some like internal work. You got to think about some things like, and so I appreciate the book for that part of it. It's just, I wish it was an easier read for me. It might be a super easy read for somebody else, but for me, it was giving very much scientific America. Moving on to the discipline chapter. This is the chapter that I knew was gonna like grab me by the hair and twirl me down to the ground. And this is honestly when my brain gave up on this book. Probably it could be because it was just probably just getting a little too real in the field. But I'm going to tell you about some things that I learned. Okay. So let me go to the little Cliff Notes section because I didn't finish the whole thing. Okay. So basically, there's like a imaginary willpower muscle that you have to sort of work out to get to a point of being able to have cognitive resources that you can depend on, basically. And so basically he says that throughout the day you can replenish these resources because they will sort of deplete throughout the day, and you'll be like, that's why kind of like at the end of the day you'll be like, I ain't doing them dishes, I ain't finna wash them clothes, it was on my plan, but I ain't finna do that no more. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't got it. I ain't got the energy. So basically it is that cognitive resource, that internal imaginary willpower muscle that has just gotten tired and you just don't have it and you know more. But he's saying that like there's things that you can do throughout the day to sort of amp that cognitive energy back up. And so he's saying you should take regularly scheduled breaks. Like you can't just like keep going full steam. Like you can't just keep going full stream. No, full steam. God damn it. You can't just keep going full steam ahead. You have to take breaks. Otherwise you will get like worn out or whatever. He says like take a 5-minute walk, eat some fruit, drink a glass of fresh juice. And you have to like sort of become habitual so that it becomes like second nature to your body. Your body doesn't have to think about these things anymore because it will become like a thing that you automatically do. And we talked about this in the January book, which was habit. I don't forgot the name of the book, but you know what I'm talking about. It was that habit book that we read in January. That was like the first book of the year. And that was like sort of along the same lines as what he's saying. So that might be a good note. Ooh, y'all, there's good stuff in here. I hate that it's such a hard read. Okay, I'm gonna have to read it because there's really good stuff in here. Like I love a list. I love a chart. I love a chart. God damn it, I'm gonna have to read this book. God damn. I thought I could really just get away with just looking at the cliff notes. But I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm saying this, because it has like a little example of a chart, and then it has filling in your habit list. Like you could put little dots or whatever. He gives you like different methods of like how to make it stick. You know what I'm saying? So like he has like a 30-day challenge right here, and he has drawing a restart line. Like if you have too many red dots or you forget, then you just have to like make a restart line, which is this black line that he has across here. And he's like, okay, so it doesn't negate everything that you did up here, but you have to start over because you just weren't doing it consistently enough. You know what I mean? He says, why does the habit list work? It works because it's simple. It's an everyday reminder. It's tangible because he actually wants you to write it on a piece of paper, and not like in the computer or your phone. And it is visual feedback. So you can actually like see it on a wall or whatever and be like, okay, I haven't done this today. I haven't done that today. And you can like do things. So the next part, he talks about decision paralysis. And it's like where, because of your cognitive resources waning, at a certain point, for different people is different points, of course. But he says the less often you are forced to make decisions during the day, the more energy you will have for completing tasks. So all of these little, even if it's a little decision that you have, it's just chipping away at your energy and your willpower to want to actually do things. So if all day long you're red or blue, white or black, breakfast or brunch, lunch and dinner, what is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? Your brain feels like it already did the work. You see what I'm saying? Your brain feels like I've been working all day. What are y'all talking about? Now we actually got to do something? Nah, bro, because I have been doing things. All day I've been making decisions left and right. That right there, that really makes sense to me, because especially I'd be looking at like videos on TikTok, and I basically had got into like my husband is shitty talk, like some kind of way I had got like on there. And it was very interesting because like husbands were asking their wives for almost like permission to do things, or like approval to do things. Like, oh, do you want me to put the forks in here or over there? Do you want me to clean the kitchen counter? Do you want me to, should I, the baby's diaper is dirty. Should I change him? It's like, bro, why the fuck do you need to ask me this? And I low key feel like wives, I would say some wives are training men to ask them everything anyway, like because they probably want it done a very specific type of way. So the husbands are like, well, before I even attempt this, let me just go ask her if she even wants me to attempt it. But at the same time, it's making these wives have decision fatigue. Like they are so tired of doing things on top of making decisions for another grown ass adult who should probably be able to make some decisions on their own as well. Next up, in the discipline section, there's like a to do today list, which helps you plan out every day. And then there's this thing he calls heroism, which is where you can like step outside of your comfort zone. And he says, if you can leave your comfort zone, the odds of you living your life to the fullest will increase. But the comfort zone is so comfortable. So he says that discipline is the opposite of procrastination because it actually takes effort. And it actually takes a plan, and it actually takes like a completion of the plan for you to consider yourself like, I'm disciplining myself to do this. So I'm like determined to do this. I'm going to make this happen. You're disciplined. You're like in it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the discipline section, right? And then after the discipline section, there is a objectivity section, learning how to see your flaws. Of course, I didn't get this far in the book, so I think it's really just more scientific, like brain stuff. And basically, he talks about the Dunning-Kruger effect, which I've heard of before, but let's get into that really fast. It says researchers were intrigued by the difference in people's actual abilities and how they perceived their abilities. Incompetent people suffer from two types of problems. Due to their incompetence, they make flawed decisions, or they are unable to realize the fact that they make flawed decisions. Yikes. And the least competent people had a tendency to significantly overestimate their abilities. In fact, the less competent they were, the more they overestimated themselves. For example, the more painfully unfunny an individual was, the funnier they thought they were. Is he describing white men? I'm just kidding. Some of y'all be funny. It also says the second interesting finding was that the most competent participants had a tendency to underestimate their abilities. So basically he's saying when people are super competent in something, it comes naturally to them, it comes easy to them, and they assume that because they can do it, everybody can do it. Like, oh, it's just everybody is funny. You know, I sort of do that because everybody in my family is funny. It's pretty funny. And so when people be like, Tracy, you're so funny. You should do stand-up comedy. You should do da-da-da. I'll be like, what? It's normal. Everything is like, this is how we act. Everybody in my family is a fool. Huh? What are you talking about? It's like nothing extraordinary. It doesn't seem like something out of the normal realm. You know what I'm saying? For me, it just seems like that's how people are. I understand that I make people laugh and that I'm like funny, but I don't think I'm like, I should be on the Queens of Comedy. No. I just feel like I'm regular funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? However, I will say that I do recognize when people are not funny who think they are funny. And I do not laugh. I refuse to feed that monster. I will not laugh, especially if it's a man. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? Me. That's why I'm single. Anyway, this is so interesting. Okay, so he gets more interesting as he gets in the back of the book. We in the back now. We in the back. Okay, and then the last little chapter is called Conclusion, the Key to Longevity. And basically, it's like giving you some little tools. He talks about doing meetings with yourself, like basically like just how the same you would do for work, like how you do like a one-on-one with your boss or whatever. You need to have like a meeting with yourself. Basically do like your own little self-review. Like, have I made any progress? How do I feel about this? Am I still struggling in this area? All very nice things. Like, I wish I was like this organized to be able to be like, I'm going to put a self meeting on my calendar. I'm going to have a meeting with myself and I'm going to go over like my stats for the year. And we're going to see like how I'm improving. Am I doing things? Am I not doing things? Like, that would be an amazing thing if I was like actually that type of person. I feel like the story that I tell myself is that I'm not that type of person. And so maybe I need to delete that story, write a new story in which I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then he gives you like a little sort of check-in, like things that you could talk to yourself about. I'm really enjoying the tools. I love homework. Like I said before, I love tools. And then he goes into like everything that, you know, he talked about, all the little tools and stuff like that. Okay, so at first, I'm going to be honest, y'all. I was not going to recommend this book at first. I was going to be like, it's a hard read. I don't suggest it unless you're like a science nerd or something like that. But I kind of see why he is doing it that way. He kind of has to like break down the reasons for stuff, but I will recommend this book based off of the tools and the sort of homework and the planning parts of it alone. Like, reading the book aside, if you just went in here and read the parts about the tools and things that you can do to help yourself, I feel like he was on to something when he did that. I am honestly going to go back and read the entire book the way that I should have, because now that I've been going in here and like, you know, telling y'all about some of this stuff, it just seems like there's some helpful things in here that I might need to actually put into practice. So I'm going to pick out 2 books. By the time I post this, I'll just go ahead and drop them in the description box below. Let me know if you guys have this book, if you read this book, if it was a hard read for you as well. If you finished this book, let me know in the comments. Y'all, I'm so happy to be back in Chicago. I went skating earlier in the week. I went to a party like the day that I got back on Saturday. I went to a party, birthday party. And so I've already been being more social, and I'm just really excited about, you know, getting my place to reflect, you know, a new feeling, a new Tracy, you know, this excellent Jim Jones version. Y'all know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can get every video that I'm posting. I heard y'all about the shorts in the last video. Some of y'all were like, hey, can you post the theme song as a short so that I won't be messing up your views? Who said that? I said I was going to remember people's names. I'm terrible. I'm sorry, y'all. You know who you are. I feel like it started with a D. Like, it wasn't Donzel. Dorian. Dorian? Finally, Dorian? Shout out to you. You know who you are. I forgot how many sirens I hear when I'm in Chicago. Lord, bless this city. I will be the hard part, because when I first came up with that theme song, I wanted to make it into a short. I wanted to put it on Instagram, but the way that I shot everything, it was horizontal. And when I tried to just like, there's a little editing tool in Premiere Pro where you could just make something automatically crop, and it looks so dumb. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to physically go in here, crop everything myself, move it to where I want it to be. And so it's just gonna take a little bit of time. I have to like do the edit manually, and I can't just like push a button and have it crop because it just didn't look right. So I'll work on that for y'all. I promise I will, because I know y'all love that theme song. I love it too. Yeah, I'm a read this book and do some of these tools. I'll let y'all know in the future how that works out. Again, I'm going to put April's book and May's book in the description box below, because I haven't even picked those out yet. I got to figure out what I feel like reading. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to read like self-improvement things, but we're going to see how that ends up. Please stay through to the end of this video, because I have a very important message that's going to play after that last little depression nest credit. Okay, please go ahead and stay through to the end of this video. It's very important. I'll see y'all next week, my depressy besties. It's so good to be back in Chicago, back on our depression nest vibe. Let's get it going, y'all. See y'all next week. Bye. Y'all, I have a very important announcement. Okay, I went to the store. Hold on, I just went up the stairs and now I'm out of breath because I'm fat. Hold on. Y'all, I went to the store. Y'all know I didn't go inside, but I was on the app trying to pick out everything that I wanted, right? And so, of course, I'm hitting the button for Fresca, like, Fresca. What is that? Why is it 3 flavors of Fresca, peach, and black cherry? Please, someone. And they go in this order to me. That's the order they go in. They all good, but I still like the original best, and then the peach, and then the black cherry. I just had to tell y'all that Fresca got flavors. I don't know when that happened. Y'all, but y'all know I be coming on here talking about Fresca a lot. So my homegirl Dre on TV, she said, girl, you are single-handedly keeping Fresca in business. Gotta be. I feel like there's a secret society of Fresca lovers, because they done came out with some flavors. That means Fresca got money. Okay? Fresca got money. Don't play with them. Fresca, hit me up. Send me some Fresca. Like, I love you. Do you love me? I hope so. Bye, Fresca. We go together.